Hey, what's up feckers? How you all doing? Hope you're having a good day. Now today's video is a Chroma one, considering that last night they announced that Limbo Prime access is about to end, Valkyrie Prime is about to be vaulted, and hopefully Chroma Prime will be announced as soon as maybe this Friday on the dev stream, because Rebecca hinted as much on Quiet Shy's art stream with Steve a few days ago. So hopefully this Friday on the dev stream we'll get a first look at Chroma Prime, hopefully. But the idea behind this video wasn't created by me, even though it is Chroma. I know you've never seen Chroma on this channel before. However, this was made by a friend and a fellow Warframe partner and streamer called Frozenballz, who has over 10,000 hours in Warframe. The dude seriously knows his shit. So I will leave the link to his Twitch and his YouTube in the description below this video for you to check out if you want to, if you like what you see. Now his YouTube series is called How Would You Change? So with his Prime variant around the corner, hopefully a rework or maybe a shift in some of Chroma's abilities will come with that primed package. So how would you change Chroma? Let me know in the comment section below, and as always, thanks very much for watching.
Hey guys, it's Frozenballz here today, and welcome to a new episode of How Would You Change X, in which I look at various Warframes and their mechanics, and go into detail about how I would go about changing them to fit in better with the current iteration of the game. It's no hidden fact that there are many Warframes that have either kits that are partially utilized, or they fall behind compared to many other options that exist, since they don't do any of their roles well, or the alternatives are just a better choice to roll with. This series is aimed at opening lines of discussion with you guys to brainstorm ideas to improve the frames. Today's topic is Chroma. This episode will be slightly longer than the previous ones. With the next Prime access almost upon us, and D have already hinted in the past on dev streams that it's most likely going to be Chroma, I figured this would be an interesting topic of discussion. We recently got a rework of Chroma, but I feel like something is still missing and stuff can be done to improve him as a Warframe, so let's dive right into it. First and foremost, we've always been given this idea that Chroma is meant to be a beast of a tank. To mirror this idea, here's a change to his passive. Being a dragon, Chroma possesses naturally thick skin, which makes him immune to status procs. If you want to take this a step further, you can make it so he's immune to IPS and base elementals, or just base elementals. Spectral Scream as an ability is kinda meh. To help improve this, you could change his base range from the current 10 meters to 15 meters. This range is fixed and not affected by mods, because after all, we don't need his first ability to be overpowered or anything. However, add another feature to this ability. 20% of the damage done by Spectral Scream is now restored as health. Furthermore, make it so that you can switch elements on the fly. Press 1 to toggle the ability, hold ability key to change elements. We know this sort of functionality already exists, case in point Ivara or Vauban. The second ability is Elemental Ward. For this, I will explain it in 4 parts, one for each element, but for the base ability itself, increase its base range from 12 meters to 20 meters, with the augment remaining unchanged. Toxin now increases your reload speed as well as your speed similar to Volt, instead of the holster rate. Let's be honest, holster rate is not really as important say for niche or extreme min-max cases, so instead of focusing on something that could be useful, we'll see people speccing into Toxin as an element for their Chroma. This also helps bring Toxin in line with the other elements in terms of usefulness. Heat will now restore allies' health when moving in and out of range. This was originally changed due to being too effective, however the game is no longer in a state where healing is scarce and a must, case in point, Mage's Elevate, Arcane Grace, etc. And this change will allow Chroma to function as a support healer frame and provide versatility. Now, this may come across as controversial, and honestly I don't see doing this at all. However, I feel it would be a good idea that is worth exploring. For the electric elemental ward, make it so that any incoming damage is redirected back as finisher damage, but make it similar to how Volt's ultimate works. More damage is returned the closer the enemy is to you. The damage multiplier has been reduced down to 200% at max rank instead of 1000 to compensate for the changes. This value is still affected by mods and has high scalability as a DPS platform across the other options that exist. The last element is Cold. Cold will provide a flat 50% damage reduction instead of additional armor, and this is unaffected by mods. All other aspects of this element remain unchanged. I will explain a little bit more about Cold in a second, but let's jump into Vex Armor real quick. For Vex Armor, the Scorn multiplier is changed from 3.5 to 10 to match the previous values to help restore Chroma's tanking potential. This, combined with the 50% damage reduction from the newly suggested Cold Ward changes, allow Chroma to sit at a comfortable 158k HP with the build shown. The reason why I'm advocating for a 50% flat damage reduction on Elemental Ward and an increase of the Scorn multiplier instead of armor would be due to how Spectral Scream would be able to switch elements on the fly. This being able to switch elements on the fly will cause massive conflicts in the formula for the ability abilities, and you would either have to live with a broken, buggy Vex Armor again, or not enjoy the extra armor unless you die. Another reason why I feel this change would be better for the frame is because of the fact that old Vex Armor took base armor into account, and thus old Cold War took the base armor into account for the calculation. Now, Cold War gives armor, but doesn't take into account Vex Armor. Staying with the current formula, calculation will result in what we have right now. Going back to the old formula will result in major calculation efforts as mentioned previously. So if you want Chroma to be able to switch elements on the fly via Spectral Scream, for example, these armor values need to change. Instead of giving armor, just give them flat out damage reduction, and that'll help fix a lot of issues. With this in mind, with heat, you'd be sitting at 98k HP, while the other elements would sit around 79k HP with this particular build. This would allow Chroma to still be a tank without having to spec specifically into cold element, allowing for massive build diversity and giving players more choice. Players who prefer to be tanky can still spec into it. Vex Armors Augment will be changed so that any damage done to the shields results in an AoE blast proc, while any health damage taken, it changes into an AoE viral proc, and a damage threshold for the proc to occur is reduced down to 50. The range of 9 meters remains unchanged but can be modded for, and with that, we jump into the last ability. Let's be honest, effigy is not one of the best abilities. Once the Secura Lecter meta was culled/fixed, or whatever you want to call it by DE, it basically became an ability no one touched yet again. To fix this, here's what I suggest. Make it that effigy stun range, stun frequency, and stun duration are increased. Enemies that are under the effect of effigy also take 100% more damage. Effigy will now also follow the player around sort of similar to Excal Umbra, and the sprint speed increase that the player gets for removing the pelt is now increasable via modding for power strength. The augment is changed and now has a 50% chance to increase loot from enemy corpses, and this percentage can be increased when modded for power strength. I know that's a lot of information for a video series that is meant to be short bursts promoting discussion, but honestly, there is no other way about it since the intent and values need to be explained to justify the reasoning behind the changes. The changes to Vex Armor not only fixes damage, but also nerf tank Chroma into the ground. This proposed rework aims to restore the prettiest pretty princess to its former glory. The new Spectral Scream also allows players to be more flexible with their builds, frees up his passive for a more fitting and player-friendly passive that helps players old and new to survive longer. Elemental Ward changes help bring up his flexibility and will open up Chroma to more support-oriented builds instead of just being one-trick pony. Vex Armor Scorn changes bring back the beloved Dragon Tank without making any other elements inferior, and the changes to the augment allow him to be incredibly useful support frame. Effigy changes make it more reliable as a CC ability and also allow Chroma to be a potential serious candidate as a speedrunning frame, while also making him very desirable farming frame when paired with the augment. I believe this kit overhaul will also see a rise in build diversity, allowing people to play the game in their own style, while letting Chroma retain his glory as a beast of a tank. That's it for this video. Before I end the video, I would like to point out there is currently a giveaway for a Destiny 2 PC copy, including all the DLCs, including Forsaken. The link will be in description for you to check out. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to comment on the how, why, and what you would change. And if you liked the video, please leave a like or not if you didn't. Perhaps share it with friends so they can join in on the discussion and get some momentum rolling that DE may be interested in some of the ideas as well. I'll see you guys in the next one.